$4,670. That amount of money can buy you a used car, a semester at a community college, including your books, 4 brand new iPhones, or 2 tickets to the 2019 Super Bowl. That same amount of money can only buy you 1 ticket to watch Zion Williamson and the Duke Blue Devils take on the North Carolina Tar Heels in a Division I college basketball matchup. My reason for you all to listen to this speech is we are all either current college students or have been to college, and this topic deals with colleges all across the nation. My thesis statement is to persuade my audience to believe that college athletes should get paid to play for their respective schools. I have gathered this information from my personal experience as a college athlete for the past 2 years and also from credible online sources. The main points of my speech include, firstly, college athletes spend 43 hours per week on an average invested into their sport. Secondly, colleges make money from selling jerseys, tickets, and other merchandise related to their sports programs. And finally, colleges with large sports teams depend on the revenue from people purchasing tickets and merchandise to sustain their yearly budget. Again, my thesis is to persuade my audience to believe that college athletes should get paid to play sports. College athletes spend 43 hours per week on average invested into their sport. This leaves very little spare time to work at a job while having to go to practice and also having to be a full-time student. From personal experience, I was only able to work a maximum of 12 hours a week because I had the good fortune of having an employer who was very understanding and willing to work with my day-to-day basketball and school schedules. Last-minute practice scheduling changes make it extremely challenging to even have a job unless you have a flexible employer. Most college athletes are unable to find such jobs. These hours spent by college athletes working hard at practice produce large amounts of revenue for the institution from ticket sales and sports merchandise. However, the athlete doing all the work receives absolutely no money for their efforts. Leading to my second point, colleges make money from selling jerseys and other sports merchandise. Fans purchase merchandise based on their favorite schools and athletes, and these sales generate large revenue streams for many major colleges and universities. It is against NCAA rules for college athletes to make any income from these merchandising sales, thus leaving them with little to no money if they lack financial support from their family or the ability to have a flexible part-time job. All of the revenue made from ticket sales and merchandise is made possible by the hard work and dedication of these athletes and is used towards sustaining the institution's yearly budget. Moving into my final point, colleges with large sports teams depend on the revenue from people purchasing tickets to attend the sporting events and buying sports merchandise to sustain the yearly budget of the school. Colleges and universities with large sports programs factor in the revenue from ticket sales and sports merchandise in the yearly budget. Schools with such programs factor in the revenue they make from the ticket sales, sports merchandise, and also concessions to offset and sustain shortfalls in the budget. None of this revenue could be made possible without the help of college athletes. The Michigan Wolverines play their home football games at Michigan Stadium, also referred to as the Big House, and for good reason. This stadium can hold a maximum capacity of 107,601 fans to watch the game. Here I have an image of Michigan Stadium. At an average ticket price of $125, the university receives $13,375,000 in ticket sales alone for a single football game. Michigan will play 7 home games during the 2019 football season. With that said, the school will earn close to $100 million in ticket sales for this year just from the football program alone. The review of my main points include, firstly, college athletes spend an average of 43 hours per week invested into their sports team. Secondly, colleges make money from selling jerseys, tickets, and other sports merchandise. And finally, colleges with large sports programs depend on the revenue from people paying to come to the games and buying merchandise in order to sustain the yearly budget. Again, my thesis is to persuade my audience to believe that college athletes should get paid to play for their respective schools. In closing, the NCAA is a multi-billion-dollar industry. More money goes into these programs across the country than most professional sports organizations. This is all due to the hard work done by these young athletes, and I believe that they should receive compensation for their efforts in bringing some of the greatest events that can be viewed on the planet.